Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. Dear Shaykh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Wa alaikum assalam. I live in a rural area, which means there are many animals that either eat the harvest or attack and kill my livestock. Is it permissible to kill rodents or predators to prevent further loss? This question came, I did answer this question. It's good to just, share with others. First of all, try to contact the animal control, right? Contact them, see how they can prevent all this. But if it's very necessary, getting out of hand, it is permissible to save your own harvest, to save your own livestock and animals, from other predators. It is totally fine. But living in this type of a country, you have that service, so you can contact the animal control and all that and talk about it, how to prevent all this. But if it goes out of hand, it is permissible to do it, no problem. Question. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Wa alaikum salam. A person made a pledge to donate X amount of money for the masjid, but passed away before being able to fulfill it. Is this pledge binding? Good question. A lot of times when there's fundraisers, sometimes we pledge, we make a promise that we're going to give X amount, not at that moment, but maybe later on. And in that, between that time, someone passes away. So the answer is, the pledge that is made to a masjid or any organization is a promise. I promise that I will pay this amount of money in a month or 2 months or 6 months, whatever it is, right? It is not binding. It is a promise. And the person has the intention to pay. That I will pay in a week or whatever it is. If a person passes away without fulfilling his pledge, it means that he did not fulfill his promise. He couldn't fulfill his promise because he passed away. This, whatever amount, will not be taken from the inheritance. It will not be taken. It was a promise that he made or she made, and he cannot or she cannot fulfill it. So do not, unless he mentions it in a will, in his 1/3. That is something else. But if, let's say, the family members just know about it verbally, that my father, my mother, or whoever has made a pledge, but they passed away, so it will not be deducted from his, right? But yes, he will get the reward of the intention. That person, the individual, will get the reward for the intention that person made. It will be no problem. But having said that, if the inheritors voluntarily says that, okay, you know what, we got together, we know that my father or my mother pledged certain amount. So when the amount has been distributed, the inheritance has been distributed, they all pitched in, let's say for example $1,000. My father or my mother made a pledge, so they collected that 1,000 and they gave it. That's totally fine, no problem. But the money, that amount will not be taken out from the inheritance, because that is not binding, that is a promise. That person will get the reward. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. What is ideal for Muslim grave identification? Is Arabic or English text allowed? For example, Bismillah or Kalima or Ayat on a stone near the deceased head position. Can we write name and date of birth, death date? Is this allowed or not on graveyard stones? If no name or identification is allowed, what else can we do to identify the deceased grave location? Okay. As we know, the Sharia has permitted for a single grave marker for identification purposes. That is totally fine. It's a single mark for identification that it is a grave. That is permissible to do so. But the Quranic verses written or anything written that is Islamic, it is not permissible in Islam. It is not permissible. The only thing is permissible is to write the name or date of birth or date of death. That's it. That is identification for identify or the number of the grave. Even now here they have grave numbers. You can provide it on that. That's it. It is disrespectful to write an ayah. You know, here, subhanallah, I was in the graveyard. You know, the stone is on the floor, on the ground. It's not even raised. And here, when you're going and burying a deceased, you're walking on the graves because you don't see there's a grave there. It's sad. You're walking on them, and then there's a plaque that the identification, the name is written, and then there maybe Muslims the verses. I saw it, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and all that, and people are walking. So it's very disrespectful. Animals walk through and all this. Don't write anything. Nothing happen. If you're going to write an eye or something, it will not happen. Nothing will happen. So there's nothing proven in that. So just for the identification of that grave, maximum name, date of birth or date of death, and that's it. Khalas. What else you need? When a person is alive, the verses that you're writing, the Ayatul Kursi, the Surah Ikhlas, or whatever the verses are, those verses should be in your life when you're alive. You're thinking about them, you're living as how Allah wants, and then now you put it when the person is dead, nothing is going to happen. So don't do anything. People get very, okay, I'm going to write this. I said, a couple of years ago back, someone asked me, I said, don't write anything, just write the name and that's it. Nothing else. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Shaykh. Wa alaikum assalam. Hope you're fine. Alhamdulillah. I pray that you're fine as well. My husband and I intended to go for Umrah. However, I have 5-month-old that I nurse, breastfeed. Will it break my ihram if I pump throughout my Umrah? No, it will not. Using a breast pump while in the state of ihram will not affect the validity of ihram. You can do it. It is totally permissible. There is nothing wrong in that while in the state of ihram. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your Umrah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.